Hello, hello, good people. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Make America Think Again with Vaughn. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Down below, you can see the correct spelling of my name. You have my IG information. If you want to just get a little pop of news throughout the week, I encourage you to go to my IG page. It's where I post a lot of political information throughout the week and just things that are going on in the world, going on in the country, things you need to know about. You can go to my IG page. And then lastly, you have my Cash App there, $1111 Oracle, because I be knowing. If you want to make a donation to the page, it would be greatly appreciated. But let me tell you this, just last week, something else I said came into fruition. I tried to warn you all, told you all that we really need to have a conversation about jumping on the bandwagon with this Plattner dude. And then you saw what happened, right? I'm going to talk about him in a separate video. So put a pin in that. We're going to circle back to him. But in this episode, I want to talk about friends, and specifically the friends of Nolan Xavier Wells, or friends of Nolan Xavier Wells, because in my opinion, friends don't leave friends. Period. Friends just don't leave friends. Even as an adult, when I go out with people, I leave with the same people, unless I drive by myself, because I like to come and go as I please. So there's that. But if you go with a group, you come back with the group, you leave with the group. Only one time as an adult have I ever left a friend when we went together and she decided that she wanted to go with someone who she knew very well. She dated before, she went to college with, knew where he lived, gave me that information. Like, all the things happened before I was like, okay, girl, do you have a good time? You know, you don't separate. You don't separate. Women know this all too well. I think uh, our young men are really taught this. This is something that we really do need to start re-emphasizing, but I'm going to pick up on that at the end of the conversation. To get everyone on the same page and caught up to speed, I'm going to give you the information that we know right now. Okay, so let's catch everybody up, make sure we're all on the same page. Even though this story finally made it to mainstream media, I'm quite sure there's some people out there that still don't know about this case. So Nolan Wells went out boating with some friends on July 4th. He spent the night before, according to his mother, at one of the friends' homes. They went out on a boat. One of the friends' family has a boat. They went out on the boat. They went over to this island. It's called Horn Island, which is right off the coast of Mississippi. Apparently, this is a spot that a lot of people in this community go and kind of hang out, swim, boat, etc. Whenever holidays come up or come around. So on July 4th, he goes over to Horn Island with this group of friends. So there's a total of four of them. Nolan is the only African-American young man. The other three are Caucasian. The other three come from, I would say, prominent families in the area, doctors, judges, etc., i.e. the boats. And Nolan, not so much. Looks like, the parents, they've been, doing things on the media, talking on media, or talking to media. And it looks like they probably just come from an average middle class family. Okay. So Nolan goes over to this Horn Island with these so-called friends. And here's where the story gets convoluted and murky. Okay, so these three friends have told apparently law enforcement there that Nolan decided to stay behind when they decided to leave, because he wanted to talk to some young lady. Well, this young lady told law enforcement that Nolan left with the friends. Now, these friends said Nolan got on another boat with a separate group of friends, didn't come back with them, but initially they said he stayed behind to hang out with this girl. So I don't know if it was to hang out with this girl. And then he said, okay, but I'm gonna catch a ride back on this boat with the other friends. Um, but the girl said that he got back on the original boat, the girl that he was supposedly talking to. So there's one contradiction there. And then, so the friends come back. Now it's July 5th, and there's no Nolan. Okay, there's no Nolan. And the mother, she said that she usually receives, like something from Nolan, like, hey, I'm back. Hi, mom, I'm back or whatever. But she didn't receive that. So she reached out to one of the moms of one of the sons and got this story that Nolan decided to stay behind. So I don't know where he is. He decides to stay behind. He's supposed to catch a boat back over with a different group of friends. Um, and then so moving right along, the mom, starts thinking, well, you know, where's my son? Where's my son? He didn't come back with you all. Nobody's notified us. We didn't hear from him. Like, what's really going on? So she starts to try to locate him by his phone. Now, her Life 360 is telling her that the phone is on the land. And then she calls one of her friends, a different friend group. From the names, I would think that this is a Black family, an African American family. She calls them because the sons are also friends of Nolan's. So the friends go on the Snapchat and try to locate Nolan through Snapchat, his location through Snapchat, and they are saying that the phone is showing up still on the island. So now you got a phone that cannot be located. But somehow, some way, this friend, they find out that the phone is at one of the original group's homes. Okay, so the friend says, you know what, you go ahead and call authorities. I'm going to take it upon myself. I'm going to go over to this so-called friend's house and retrieve the phone and bring the phone to you. Okay, so the friend's doing that. The friend goes over to this house. She has problems getting the phone back, but she does get the phone back. She takes it to Nolan's mom. Now, here's again where it gets murky. Nolan's mom says that they start going through the phone, her and her sister start going through the phone, and all the Snapchat videos, there's no Snapchat videos, there's no Snapchat pictures. And she said, this is very unlike Nolan. She said, he's always taking videos. He's always taking pictures, especially if there's a social setting, there are going to be some pictures and videos. There's nothing on the phone. So clearly they believe that the phone has been wiped clean of any evidence of what transpired on July 4th. Okay. Then she and her husband get in the car to go and retrieve Nolan's car, which is still parked at the friends, one of the members of the friend group at their home. They go to the home. The dad gets out with two other young men who are sons of one of his former classmates who have come to actually help search for Nolan. So this is a separate group. There are two boys there. And then they go to the house where the group where Nolan went on the boat with, who Nolan went on the boat with, that's where they are. Okay. So according to Dad, two of the guys come to the door. And then the other guys that he arrived with, there's some sort of confrontation, like he's trying to calm everybody down because he's telling these guys that arrived with him, look, I'm just trying to get answers and get my son's car and the keys. So let's calm this down. Now, I have serious questions about what was the beef? What were they arguing about? What were the friends at the door? Because the dad really didn't elaborate as to what they were saying. Were the dudes at the door trying to like blow him off? Well, did that upset the young men who were actually with the dad? Like what really transpired? He did say that there was some sort of it was getting heated and he had to calm both groups down. Okay. So once that happens, Jax. Okay, so I can remember a Jack's name, a Warren's name, and I cannot remember the third boy's name, but of the original group that went on the boat. Jax comes out of the room, said Jax looks like he's been asleep, hair is tousled, etc. And he's asking Jax, because the other guys have said we don't have Nolan's keys, but the car is parked right here, right? We don't have the keys. We don't know where the keys are. So Jax come out and Jax is saying, look, Nolan was like a brother to me. If I had anything, I'd give it to you, blah, 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 blah. If Nolan was like a brother to you, why aren't the three of you out here trying to search and find Nolan like the family, like these other young men who have come to try to help? Why aren't you trying to search for your brother? Okay. So that's another contradiction that I noted. And then one of the other, I'm just going to go ahead and say white boys so we can differentiate between the groups. One of the other white boys is on the phone with some girl who apparently had been at the house previously, and she was able to tell the dad where the keys were. So the keys were in Jax's room on an Xbox. Dad was able to retrieve the keys and take the car. But all this transpires in him trying to get the keys to his son's car. And I just want you to make a note of the fact that none of these so-called friends tried to bring Nolan's phone or his keys or his car to the parents. They just at the house chilling. Not only are they not trying to help look for Nolan, whom they try to present as their brother, but they also are withholding the phone, which has now, we have discovered, has been wiped clean of any evidence of what happened on July 4th. And they're not trying to produce keys to his car. Okay, I just want to make sure that y'all tracking with me. Tracking with me. Okay. So I'm trying to catch and make sure that I'm telling you all the information. Snapchat picked up the phone. So the dad said that, he got kind of pissed off because he was like, wait, now I can't trust you because you told me you didn't know where the keys were, but the keys were right in your room sitting on the Xbox. It took this girl to be on the phone to tell me where the keys are, and you just came out of that room. So the dad said that started a little distrust in regards to these boys, in regards to their son and if they're giving accurate information. So then dad says, that night he would have went over to that island to look for his son. He said, but I don't have a boat and I don't have friends with a boat. So that just lets you know, it just really illustrated the different dynamics between the two groups as far as like socioeconomic levels, potentially education levels. You got parents over here who are doctors and judges, etc. And you got parents here. I don't know what either of Nolan's parents do, but they just came off as middle class to me. I don't know what their jobs, occupations are. But he made it clear I would have went to look for my son that night, but I don't have a boat and I didn't have access to a boat like these kids have access to a boat. But lo and behold, Nolan's coach called. He said at 5 a.m., hey, I got a boat. You want to go over to the island? Let's go search. So dad, yes, they go over to the island. He said they drove around the island, went around the island. They went on the island. He said not only were there two boats that were still there. Now this is July 5th. There are two boats that were still there. There were campers that were on the island. So he's like, if Nolan was in distress, there were at least a couple of folks that he could have, found their tents or stumbled upon their tents, for some help. There were boats that were docked there. He said, but there was nothing. There was no evidence of Nolan, period, on that island. I'm assuming that they talked to the campers because he didn't say that the campers said, hey, we saw this kid. None of that. Okay. And then the next day, on the same island that he and the coach searched, walked around, drove the boat around, talked to people, etc. That same island is where Nolan's body, I guess, comes on shore, according to the police, washes up on shore, or they find the body on this island. And the dad raised questions about that. He's like, look, I know that we thoroughly searched that island. I don't know how currents work, but it was already the next day. So how is it that my son hadn't washed up on the shore when I was there the next day? It took an additional day for my son's body to be found, to wash up on the shore, according to law enforcement. So there's another discrepancy. Now you had the Cajun Navy out there. You had all these people searching. Nobody could find Nolan. Nobody could find Nolan. But the next day is when his body washes up on the shore. So look, the funeral arrangements have not been set yet. There is a personal private autopsy that has been ordered. Benjamin Crump, attorney Benjamin Crump, is on the case. He is working with the family, at least in this investigative process, because the parents have said, we just want transparency. We want to know what happened to our son. Point blank, period. That's what we want to know right now. We just want to know what happened to our son. So they have hired Benjamin Crump. There is a GoFundMe for the family. I know that they were trying to raise at least, I think, $350,000 to cover the legal expenses. Tyler Perry is paying for the funeral. Colin Kaepernick paid for this private autopsy that is being conducted or being done, being executed out of DC. They had the body flown to DC. So that's what we know about, specifically in regards to Nolan Wells. Now back on this group of friends. Not only were they not helping to look for Nolan, not only were they not trying to turn over the phone, not only were they not trying to turn over keys to Nolan's car, they also shut down all their social media. They stopped speaking. They went completely silent, with the exception of the stepmom of one of these young men, who is the judge. The one person out of this entire scenario that should know this is not the best time for you to go on social media and say a bunch of things. She went to social media to say a bunch of things, which I'm quite sure she was probably one of the first people to tell all the boys to stay off of social media and shut the shit down. So I'm just going to give you a tidbit of what the judge stepmom, had to say on social media, which she felt comfortable posting. Where is this? Because she has now posted twice on social media, whereas I'm quite sure she told these young men not to go on social media at all. And I thought I had this flag so I could go straight to it. But apparently I did not. So let's see. Okay, so here's the first one. Her name is Ashley Cole. Ashley took to Facebook to say this: we have decided that we will not be speaking to the press at this time. The media is not the appropriate forum to further elaborate on the facts of July 4th, 2026. We realize that the truth will not stop the calls for the death of our small children. I don't know what she's alluding to there, um, but that's what she wrote. We have not had the opportunity to speak to the Wells Walmsley family or their attorney. You're a judge, ma'am. You can speak to anybody. However, we are willing to directly communicate with attorney Ben Crump and the Wells Walmsley family. Okay. We will provide them with all the information known to us. Their family can rest and properly, so their family can rest and properly mourn. We also want to know what happened to Nolan. Really? Because you didn't seem to be out there searching for Nolan. Have you talked to the police? Have your sons talked to the police? Have they given statements? We don't know. Maybe that information will come out. We will do everything within our power to assist Nolan's family in their request for answers. Okay, so this is what Ashley Cole posted on Facebook. That was the first thing she posted. Then Ashley returned as a judge. Ashley returned to social media to post yet again. Ashley says, our family, along with the community, is grieving the loss of Nolan Wells. Our thoughts and prayers, this is blurry, y'all. Our thoughts and prayers are with Nolan's family. Our son, Warren, loved Nolan dearly. Really? Because again, Warren wasn't trying to turn over that phone. Warren wasn't trying to help locate no damn keys. Warren was not part of the search party looking for Nolan. Warren didn't go over to the Walmsley house and explain and tell them what went down. Okay? Unfortunately, I feel that it is appropriate for our family to dispel some rumors with facts based upon social media attention that is being diverted away from the Wells family and their loss. And she goes on for another 3 paragraphs or so. You can find this online. I'm not going to read all that. My point is, you're doing all this talking on social media, but why isn't Warren, Jax, and the other child, have they talked to the cops? Now, mind you, officers told the Wells Walmsley family that there's nothing to see here. Must have been an accidental drowning. And this is another discrepancy because both dad and mom have said no. Our son has learned how to swim a long time ago, is a strong swimmer and an athlete in tip-top shape. He was ready to start football camp on Monday. So we doubt very seriously that he was even drinking. So y'all listen, there's so much going on with this case, so many holes, so many things that don't make sense. Yeah. This is going to, I don't want this to go on too long. So I'm going to put the other things that I have to say about this situation in a separate video directly to Black folks, because I'm just failing to understand some other things. But that's what we know about this case. Hopefully by Monday, we will have some information on the private autopsy that has been ordered and whether or not any new evidence has been provided by the police department that's there. So stay tuned. I will keep you updated on this, just like I'm going to keep you updated on the Carmelo Anthony case. There's another video that's going to drop about the Carmelo Anthony updates. So look for that as well. Okay, I will talk to everyone soon and stay safe. And then also remember, friends, do not leave friends.